Hi guys, hello and welcome to another edition of the Hustle Life series. Please, if you can hear me, give a thumbs up in the comment section. If you can hear me guys, please give a thumbs up in the comment section. All right. If you can hear me, please give a thumbs up in the comment section so I know that you can hear me. Hi guys. Hello. Thank you. Welcome to yet another edition of the Hustle Life series. Today we will be talking about self-love as a pivot for building your dreams. Now I know that quite almost everybody, has a dream or two that they want to pursue, things that they want to bring to reality. Some people know how to, some don't know how to, and some people just need that extra push. Maybe they need to hear someone say something that would push them to actually start putting plans in place to actualize that dream. And on that basis, we have a very special somebody in the house today who will be talking to us. I'm talking about Maje Ayida. Now, Maje is a certified wellness coach. He is also a seasoned motivational speaker. And Maje is also, or actually he used to be a writer for This Day newspaper and the Guardian newspaper. Funny thing is, he studied quite a couple of interesting courses, but he's doing something totally different now. He's going to be taking us through his journey, how he has been able to achieve all of that. And I hope that as always, you have your pen and your notepads so that you can take down something that you can work on. I'm going to play this song while I bring Maje on. And please, when I do, guys, as always, give him a thumbs up in the comment section. All right. Good evening, Maje. How are you?
Hi, good evening. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you loud.
Superb, excellent.
How are
How
you
is
doing?
everything? I'm doing
I
great. I'm
think
doing great. No complaints.
good.
Doing
Thank you for
how are
coming on
you?
to that series. I am doing very great. Thank you.
All right.
And thank
Excellent.
you for coming on the Hustle Life series. Thank you for honoring our invitation.
No problem. No
Yeah,
problem.
show Majid some love in the comment section. Give him thumbs up. He's here
Hi,
to
Rafani. I am. Hey, how are you? Thank you
good,
guys.
good,
Thank you so much.
good. Quickly, I've said a little bit about Majid, but please tell us who Majid is.
Wow. I never know how to answer that question. I'll be honest with you. Who am I? I'm just a regular guy who discovered something that I was really interested in, and
Mm,
kind of decided to try to make something of it. And I learned along the way that when you are really passionate about something,
mm-hmm.
then doors open,
It was open.
because people can see it. People can see the conviction. People can see that you're into this, or hey, you know what? I just want to make some money. It's just a
Mm-hmm.
little hustle. The difference is clear. And I tried all of that stuff, all the hustle stuff, a lot of closed doors. But then once
Mm-hmm.
I unlocked what I was really passionate about, things changed big
Wow.
time.
Big time. That's good
Yeah.
to know.
So regular guy, that's who I am.
Regular.
Regular, average, just get on with life, eh?
Funny thing is, he's told me what he studied, but I want him to say it with his own mouth because they're like what he studied and what he's doing now. They're like worlds apart. So please
Hmm.
tell us, what did you study in uni?
Okay, well, if you don't know, I am a wellness coach. So, which means I am basically a wellness consultant for companies and individuals as well. Also, I use fitness as a big tool in my drive for wellness. So I'm also a fitness coach as well. I actually started
Okay,
out as a fitness coach.
okay.
So what I studied is completely unrelated, actually. Before I did this, I was in banking, and again, still different to what I studied. I actually studied, I got a degree in politics and modern history.
Oh,
And yeah, prior to that was information and business systems technology,
wow.
whatever that means.
Even the first and the second degrees don't add up, huh?
I know, right? hey man, I'm just trying to learn everything. You know,
Okay.
that came from a place where I really didn't know what I wanted at that time. You
Mm.
know, I came out of school and like a lot of people, most people, I mean, I really admire people who know exactly what they want in life because that
Mm.
is a really difficult thing to achieve, you know? So,
Mhm.
people that are locked in, beautiful. If you start off at a young age knowing exactly what you want,
Mhm.
amazing. I was in the majority who have no clue, just kind of floating through life. And parents were like, you know, what do you want to study? I'll study what I can qualify for. All right.
Mm.
I'll study what I can pass and enter for, you know.
Mm.
So I was never really into law and the obvious medicine. I've already got, you know, a doctor in my family, you
Okay.
know, a financier in my family. So I just went with, I was very into humanities, you know, that's
Okay.
politics and history is in the humanities department, you know, and the
Mm-hmm.
human condition is something I think that always kind of interested me. So I went after that. Of course, the course was nothing to do with that, but hey, it was still in the humanities department. So yeah,
Uh,
that's
I
it.
picked up I picked up something from what you said just now. You said you're a wellness coach, but then
Yes.
you've recently added fitness into it. What's the difference?
Well, actually, I started off as a fitness coach and
Okay.
developed into a wellness coach. That was a very organic development. But there's a key difference, you know. Fitness is really focused on physical fitness, yeah,
Okay.
and you know, performance, agility, cardio, heart strength,
Okay.
etc. Whereas wellness is more of a holistic approach. It's mind, body, and soul. You
Okay.
know, it
Okay.
is it's basically your essence. It's who you are, your persona. It's what you eat. It's the soul food that you feed yourself, what you read, what you consume, what you
Mm-hmm.
watch, the people
Mm-hmm.
you interact with, you know, your levels of empathy as a human being, your state of mind. Are you happy? Your mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Are you sad? You know, day-to-day things. It's everything.
Mm.
Are you
Well,
spiritual?
that's
You know,
oh,
wellness
okay.
encompasses everything. It's as somebody, Fali's Foods Hut, thank you, a balanced lifestyle. I love that. Yeah,
Uh,
that's absolutely it, you know?
that covers it. That covers it.
Yes.
Interesting because I would have just thought wellness. Yeah, we're going to the gym, exercise, that kind of
Nah,
thing.
no, 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 no.
Mm.
It's what do you when you wake up in the morning, what do you tell yourself? How do you feel?
Mm.
Are you
Mm.
happy? Are you energized? You want to attack your day? Are you miserable? Are you sad? It's everything.
Mm.
Yeah.
Makes a lot
Very
makes
important.
makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of
Yeah.
sense. Oh wow. Oh wow.
So you
So
wonder, I'm sure you might be curious. Okay, so what does a wellness coach actually do, right?
oh well, but we'll get to that part. We'll
We'll
get to
get
that
to
part
that. All right,
in a minute. But I want
no
to
problem.
ask, all of the things that you studied, is there any is there anything in any of them that has probably um been some sort of a catalyst to what you're doing right now, no
No,
matter how tiny?
no,
None.
no, 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 no.
Mm, mm.
I, in school and in university, I was the let's just get through this guy. You know,
Okay.
I was just, okay, just point, that's the lecture hall. All right, what are we studying? Ugh, not interested. When you're not that into it, you know, when you're not that connected to what you're doing, you can't be that good at it. Some people are natural high flyers, which is great. Some people know how to apply themselves to whatever it is that they do. That's awesome. I'm not one of those people. You
Mm,
know, I
mm,
just kind of like just got through. You know, I would show up. So I wasn't there. I was a clock watcher. I was just taking it in, learning, and going. So it really had zero connection to what I do now.
mm.
I can't even think of one little thing actually
Mm.
that led me to this place. It
Okay.
was my lifestyle that led me to this place.
So that brings me to the question, why fitness and wellness? Of all the other things you could have
I
done,
could have done
why
in life,
fitness and
right?
wellness? Yeah.
Okay, well, after I left uni, after everything I studied, I went into banking. My family was in banking, so
Okay.
it felt like the natural course of, you know,
Mm.
it felt like a natural progression.
Like if you're in the midst
Also,
of if you're in the midst of lawyers, you just naturally gravitate
absolutely, you
towards
know,
that.
so when I came out of uni, the quest was then to get into banking. You know, I started to learn a little bit about that, courses, the usual stuff, work experience, and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Then I started to apply for banking jobs. At the time, I was living in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
I pretty much grew up in the UK. Yeah, I spent 30 plus years there. Started
Oh, wow.
school when I was about, I don't know, I was about 8 years old or something, when I started boarding school in England,
Okay.
and then left when I was over 30 and came back to
Wow.
Nigeria. So quite a while, eh? So anyway, so when I left uni, banking was glamorous to me. You
Mm-hmm.
know, it was appealing, it was glamorous. My family was into it, and in England, they have what they call is the square mile, okay, which is
Mm-hmm.
the city, which is
Mm-hmm.
where investment bankers
Everything's
are.
happening.
Everything's happening there. You work in the city, you're the man.
You're
You
the
know what I
man.
mean? You're
Yeah.
cool. You got it. So I was borderline obsessed with getting into that, So I did all sorts of odd jobs and everything while I was going for interviews and getting rejected up and down, left and right. But eventually I made it, right?
Mm.
Eventually I got in there, got my job. Like funny actually. At one point I was selling paintballing tickets
Oh, wow.
as a job, and amongst other things. And you could pick an area where you wanted to sell your tickets. So one of the
Mm.
areas I picked was the square
The
mile.
city.
Yeah, so that I could feel part of them, so that I could get on the public transport with them. I'd go to work with them. I'd get off at the same stop. I'd walk around, except they would go into their offices, and then I would now be on the streets selling paintball tickets. Hey, you know what? I got close that way. But then, so when I finally made it, it felt like a dream come true until I actually started the work.
Work.
And I didn't like it.
Mm.
Honestly, I wasn't into banking. It wasn't my thing. So I was very average at it. I was
Mhm.
quite mediocre. I would just get through. Again, same principle as in school. I was clock watching. When is this? Okay, you can hear me, yeah?
Yeah, I can hear you.
You can hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear
Just
you.
give me a thumbs up if you can hear me.
Hear you.
It doesn't seem like you can anymore.
I can't hear
Okay, you can
you.
hear you. Good.
I can hear
Okay,
you.
so yeah, same thing. I was great. I was clock watching in the bank. I was more thrilled about saying that I was working in the bank than actually working in the bank. It was more
Mm.
of a trip for me. And 1 year became 2 years, became 3 years, and eventually, after a few years, I moved back to Nigeria. While still in banking, I moved straight to Abuja. I didn't want to be in Lagos actually because I just wanted a fresh start. So I was in banking in Abuja, living my life there. Again, just going through the motions. I was just, and then when the banks, a few years back, all the banks kind of consolidated,
Mm-hmm.
and it represented an opportunity for me to shift.
Mm.
I was getting more and more despondent with the work that I was doing. And in the end, I kind of quit. Banks were getting consolidated, so people were, trying to make transitions. I think our bank got taken over by Access Bank at the time. So it was a case of, do I go and hustle to try and get a job with Access Bank and stay in banking, or do I move on?
Mm.
I chose to move on because I really couldn't be, I didn't think I'd make the cut anyway. And I just couldn't be bothered, to go through that stress. I just wanted
Mm-hmm.
something else, like not
Mm.
this. I knew what I didn't want in life.
Mm.
But the problem was that I hadn't decided what I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I left,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's like, oh, okay, I need money, right? I need to eat and stuff. So that's where the real shift in my life started to happen.
Mm.
Hmm.
Mm. Wow.
It wasn't automatical. I didn't just leave and say, hey, I'm a wellness coach. No, it didn't work
Interest,
like that at all.
interesting journey. Interesting
Yes,
journey.
yeah,
Really interesting. So, at what point did you figure out wellness, or is it you say you started off with fitness? At what
fitness.
point did you figure out fitness?
Okay, well, simple. So after I left, I didn't really have much in the way of work. I was trying to figure out what to do. My brother, my older brother, was like, he had a factory back then, yeah. He was like, come and
Mhm.
work with me, come and work with me, so that at least you're doing something. God damn it, you cannot just be just jonesing. So I was like, okay. So I would go and work with my brother, but
Mhm.
honestly, I was just occupying office space.
Mm.
It was
Mhm.
just, it gave me a place to go. Back then it was Facebook, not really, Instagram
High
wasn't
five
really,
to
yeah,
go.
whatever it was. So I'm there just faffing around online, chatting with people, not really being of any value to my brother. So,
Mm.
but of course, nepotism, I mean, real.
Yeah.
So you can just be there. So
Yeah.
anyway, but you know, that kind of life doesn't make you happy. That
Mm-hmm.
is the truth. And
Absolutely.
I got increasingly more and more miserable as I went along while
Mm.
doing this because I didn't really feel like I had any purpose. What am I here for? Then, unfortunately, I lost my mom,
Oh,
and that represented a big turning point for me.
wow.
So I went on a long road trip after that. I flew to America, rented a car, went driving, trying to figure out what do I want? What do I want? Everyone was like, "What do you want?" My siblings, "What do you want?" I didn't know, you know. And my mom kind of her last words to me actually uh, were, "Stop procrastinating."
Mm.
And that kind of hit me hard, you know. So
Mm.
I felt like she left a little disappointed. Like I'm the only child she has that hasn't really figured out what they want. So my sister, my oldest sister, was like, "Hey, you know what? I'm going to connect you to a life coach. Just go talk to her." Right.
Mm.
So I went to talk to this life coach, and she's like, "Okay, tell me all the things that you're interested in. Tell me." And I'm like, "Okay, well, you know what? I've had all sorts of business ideas. Okay. Now,
Mm-hmm.
most of my business ideas involved me coming back to England because I just wanted
Mm-hmm.
to come back to England. You
Learn.
know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I would say, oh, I think we should start, you know, set up back then, you know, obviously I had lived in Abuja. So I was like, I think what would be really great would be setting up a bus system in Abuja with
Okay.
timetables, bus stops, everything. Back then, there really wasn't one, you know? Good idea, but
Mm.
it wasn't something that came from me being really excited by it. It was just something to do.
Just a pastime.
Yeah, I had another idea to start like a plumbing company, plumbing and
Mm-hmm.
electricians, where you would have uniformed plumbers,
Mm-hmm.
electricians in
Mm-hmm.
vans, branded vans, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Official, not just, you know, plumber for hire written on the wall, you know,
Yeah.
proper
Yeah.
stuff. You know, again, it's a good idea, but if you're
Mm-hmm.
not into it, you're not going to execute. You know what I mean?
True.
So I was going through this list of things. But one of the ideas that I had when I was in Abuja, I play a lot of basketball, yeah?
Okay.
And back then, there was really only one place to exercise, which was the Hilton Hotel in
Okay.
Abuja. That's the
Okay.
only place. There were not many gyms. There were no and places to. And so anytime there was anything going on at the hotel, we couldn't play basketball there. So I got
Okay.
frustrated. I'm like, one day
You're
I'm
gonna
gonna
have your own.
open my own place. One
Wow.
day, and that's where the idea started to come to my head of having a fitness brand, right?
Wow.
But back then, I wanted to. You must have heard of Virgin Active, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah. I have.
So back then, Virgin Active is, for those of you that don't know at home, you've got Virgin Atlantic, the airline. Virgin Active is like the gym arm of Virgin. Okay, very big in South Africa, big in Europe, and I wanted to bring them to Nigeria. So I
Oh
started to
wow.
explore that. I'm like, I'm going to bring Virgin Active here and really make it pop, you know, and open. And I'm
Mhm.
going to own gyms across the country, and I'm going to be super successful because I was into the fitness lifestyle already. It's something that's been part of me right from childhood. I've always been active, always been sporty. In school, I
Mhm.
was in the teams, rugby team, football team, all
Mhm.
that kind of stuff. So I developed the idea of bringing Virgin Active. I explored that for like a year. This is
Mm.
back when I was in banking.
Mhm.
Then one day I thought, why am I bringing Virgin Active when I can be Virgin Active?
Be virgin. Oh wow. Wow.
So I now developed my own brand, but I
Wow.
didn't execute because back then I was still working in the bank. I was just, you know, I didn't execute and I kind of left it. New
Mm.
ideas, left it. So I was going through these list of ideas with this life coach, and she goes, these are all pretty good ideas, but you know what? When you talked about fitness, you lit up like a Christmas tree,
Aha.
you know? And I'm like, yeah. She goes, go do that. Why don't you
Mm.
go explore that? So I found all the notes I made on my brand and everything, and I went to work. I didn't have any money, of course, so you know my idea of rolling out a whole fleet of gyms across the country wasn't just going to happen. Geez, I
Mm.
had an idea even to do internet cafes before internet became a thing. But
Wow.
anyway, so
Wow.
I went to work, and because I didn't have any money, I didn't know how to really start. And then my brother, who factory I was working in,
Mhm.
he's a brilliant guy. And he
Mm.
said, I went to him with all these ideas, proposals,
Mm.
multi-million naira facility, open up in Lagos. I was going to
Mm.
look at locations and stuff like that until again, I realized you need money.
You need money.
You
Yeah.
can't just launch a 100 million naira
Just
project
money.
with no money and no experience.
Yeah.
And so I went to see him. I'm like, I need to raise money for this. And he goes, Maje, calm down. Look, let me tell you something, okay? Learn to work with what you have in your hands.
Wow. Point number two. I'm with you.
And that changed my life completely. Those few words changed my life. And
Mm.
so I started to learn, I learned the power of bartering, which
Say
means
that
that
again, sorry. The power of what?
the power of the barter system. The
Okay,
barter
trade by
system, trade
okay.
by
Got it.
barter, exactly. Service for a service. I didn't
Mm.
have much to offer, but I wanted to work with people. So I
Mm-hmm.
started to form strategic partnerships, and I hooked up with a guy who basically built me a website, and I created a virtual home for this fitness brand that I created.
Okay.
And then I started to talk to people who were successful already and say, hey, would you write something for me? Successful people love to write. They love
Mm.
sharing and love
Yeah.
speaking. Now it's of course lives and stuff, but back then it was,
Mm-hmm.
so would you write an article for me? Or, and they're like, oh, I've got loads of articles I've written before. Here's one. And I would have the leader in, finance. I would have a leader in skincare. I would have a
Mm-hmm.
leader in this. And I created this wellness hub online. But what it did, it gave me validation. It gave me authenticity. I had a place, a destination to direct people to, and that's because I read an article on Barry's
Mm-hmm.
boot camp. It's called Barry's boot camp, okay?
Okay.
And how the guy started, very successful boot camp in America, like
Mm-hmm.
multi-millionaire, and he
Mm.
was just a fitness instructor working
Okay.
in a gym, right? And of course, there are personal trainers in gyms. The instructors work in gyms. But
Mm-hmm.
what set him apart from the fact that he was very good, he went to meet the owner of the gym and said,
Mm-hmm.
"Hey, listen, there's a room over there. There's a cupboard that
Mm-hmm.
nobody's using. Can I turn that into an office?"
Oh wow.
And the boss was like, "Why not?" So he
Ah.
went, used his own money, did a couple of things, turned it into an office. But he became the only personal trainer in that gym that had an office in the gym.
Mm.
So all the clients now started to come to him just because he had an office.
Mm.
Doesn't mean he was any better than everybody else, just because he
Yeah.
had a destination. So that gave me the idea of having this virtual home, which was this website, right? And
Mm.
it gave me so much conviction and so much authority. And because of the people I had writing for me, people started to look at me as this fitness person, you know. But that wasn't enough. It
Mm-hmm.
wasn't enough to do that.
Mm.
There's a conviction that goes with what you do. All
Mm.
right.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't enough that I just decided to become this fitness coach.
Mm-hmm.
I decided to embody it, to really become this person.
Mm.
Like,
Mm.
I woke up one Tuesday morning and I decided, right, I'm a fitness coach from this day forth, right?
Mm.
But I
Mm.
went and I learned about it. I went and I went on courses. I lived and breathed it. I just was a sponge for things, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
worked on myself. I started to train. I started to work out. I started to do things and to really understand what people would go through. You know what I
Mm.
mean? So understand it
Yeah.
from the client perspective.
Points of view. Yeah.
And so I there was a conviction that I had that was different to the conviction of, oh, I want to start a bus company. The conviction was
Mm.
different. Like, and it was believable because I was passionate about it, because it was my
Mm-hmm.
lifestyle, and I
Yeah.
did believe in those things wholeheartedly.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's and where every door was closing before that, the moment I made this decision and I made this deal with
Started to
God, this
open.
is what I'm going to do, doors started
Doors
to
started to
open.
open.
Within a year, I started doing stuff on TV. I won an award for a fitness
Oh,
brand. Like,
wow.
I was like, what is going on? I've
Oh,
never had this kind of fortune in my life,
wow.
and it just felt right. Everything about it felt right. Even
So,
the choice of the name of the brand. My company is called Eden Lifestyle, like the Garden of Eden,
yeah.
and it represents, a new beginning, a new
Wow.
genesis, because that is the fitness journey. You know,
Brilliant.
take when you take your self-awareness and you take your self-mastery into your own hands, and you realize that you are in control
Oh.
of your emotions, you
Mm.
realize that you are in control of your thought process and the way you think and the way you react to things, it's like starting your life all over again. So it became a new
Okay.
beginning. That's why I chose that name. And something about it, a friend of mine who's like a CEO of a bank at the time was like, "There's something about this name of this company. I like it." You know,
Mm.
and very early on, I was very fortunate to meet. Back then, she was the brand manager of Nike. Okay,
Okay.
in my first year, brand manager of Nike in Nigeria, and I wanted to do. I was looking at the idea of doing fitness events and stuff, and she goes to me, let me tell you something about what Nike does. They have what they call touch points.
Okay.
Okay, touch points are basically anything that anybody sees of your brand, whether it's your logo, whether it's a video, it's a
Mm-hmm.
post, it's a picture,
Mm-hmm.
everything has to be of the highest quality, of the highest standard,
Mm.
without fail. Okay, you don't
Okay.
post anything, no, especially like you're dealing with now Instagram and stuff,
Yeah.
no grainy, dodgy selfies. All of a
Mm-hmm.
sudden, everything has to be anything on point on that. And then the service that you provide on point, everything. So anything anyone ever sees of your brand is excellence.
Mm.
So that stuck with me, and that has stuck with me till today. So I started basic. I started by building organically. I was humbled very early on to know that you can't just go from 0 to 100.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned the importance of building organically.
Mm.
Don't get ahead of the curve. Let the demand force you to grow.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That was it might not work for everyone, but that was my philosophy. So yeah, it
Oh,
was
wow.
it was an incredible beginning. It was really hard work because it was so organic and because it was just me.
Mm.
But within a year, my life changed. We
Wow.
changed the landscape of the fitness industry, which was incredible. Fitness instructors before me and a couple of other people and my peers in the industry, before we were looked at like drivers, you know.
Mm-hmm.
We were, well, a fitness coach is like nobody. But we changed that game. I think I was one of the few people that came along and said, no, you respect
Things
us.
have to change, yeah.
You must respect us as people. We are businessmen, we are businesswomen, we are entrepreneurs, and I think I was one of the few that started to call myself a fitness entrepreneur. It's
Oh,
so yeah,
nice.
it
Things
was awesome.
I can tell the passion with which you're talking. It's
It
it's
hasn't
really
changed
amazing. It's really
from day
amazing
one to here,
in
you
this
know.
short space of time. Guys, if you are just joining, we are talking about self-love as a pivot for building your dreams. And Maje has been telling us about his journey from the banking industry and from studying totally unrelated courses into his wellness and fitness journey. And he has said quite a couple of profound things. He said, he really didn't know what he
Fitnesspreneur, I
wanted to
like that.
do in the beginning.
Hmm.
And, he started out by someone suggested him talking to a life coach. So guys, if you're on here, you're, in your job, or you're just doing things you're not really sure about, and you feel there's something inside you that wants to do something else, maybe you might just need to speak to a life coach, and that person might put you on track. And then yes, like Maja said, there was something about him when he talked about fitness that even the coach realized. So I want to believe that to an extent, that thing that we really want to do, that would really really spark up our lives, is deep down inside us. We need something that
A
would
little
just,
push to
yeah, we need a
unlock
little.
it. Look, it's not easy. There's sort of a lot of people say, "Oh, find your passion, find your passion." Boy, it's not easy. A lot of us find it hard to unlock, but you can work to make yourself passionate about something that you are doing. It's, again, I feel and I truly honestly believe that every one of us has a unique gift to the world.
Mhm.
Every single human being has something in them that is their own unique gift to the world. Some
Mhm.
people are good, as in the corporate world. Some people are, good and excel in the corporate ladder, so on. Some
Mhm.
people are good at entrepreneur life, which is very difficult. Both are hard. All is difficult. Some are business minded. Whatever the case may be. Some are in the arts, entertainment, but all
Mhm.
of us have something in us that is
Inside of us.
unique, that separates us. And it's really your best power, your greatest asset is you, is your
Mhm.
individuality,
It's you.
is your uniqueness. So honestly, the best way to unlock your passion is to understand yourself. Is self-mastery, is to learn who you are. And you can audit yourself. Very few of us stop and do a self-audit in our lives. Learn what that is. Learn your truly, what are your strengths and your weaknesses, honestly. If you can be honest with yourself. Like, it's an exercise I actually give to some of my clients as well. And on the wellness side is get somebody that you trust, someone that's reasonably close to you, and ask them to tell you 3 strengths and 3 weaknesses that you have. Try not to abuse them afterwards when they tell you the weaknesses. Don't fight them, all right? But get that and then compare that to what you think your own strengths and weaknesses are, and see the difference. Then ask somebody else and see, and you'll start to see things that are their commonalities, that are consistent throughout. One particular word that keeps coming out, maybe you are strong, or you are analytical. Yeah, you know what I mean? Do a SWOT. So I think that's an important process, and not just once in your life. I think it's something that you should do periodically, regularly. You know what I mean? It's very important to really understand yourself, because you evolve as a human being. You change. Who I was 5 years ago is different to who I am now. Who I was 10 years ago. I'm evolving every day. I've evolved in the last 2 days. I've learned something new today. So we're constantly growing, constantly learning. So you really flow with that and really understand yourself. I think that's when you really start to unlock what you are, what you can give to the world, what you can give back. If you spend your time asking what the world wants to give you, you're on a long thing, man. You're on a long thing. Yeah, because that's a lot, man. That's most people, they want to take. What are you giving?
What are you giving?
Give love.
Wow.
Take it.
Wow. Permit me to clap for you. You've literally just been dropping some nuggets that, guys, I hope you're taking notes, but you can always replay this on the Hustle Africa page. You're just steady dropping some notes. I feel like I don't even need to ask you too much questions. You're just literally saying everything. So, but let me ask this though. When you finally been able to discover yourself and find out what dream you want to pursue, every dream, I want to believe, is a business in some way. How do you now begin to? You talked about organic. You got organic clients. You said something about how do you begin to source for your client base? How do you begin to do that?
Oh, well, okay. Yes, I do believe in that organic growth. Very important. And I obviously didn't start off and I was immediately successful. Even though doors were opening, there was the transition from brand to monetizing the brand.
Okay.
That's a big step, because a lot of people can have great looking brands and can have these things, but are you monetized? 80% of the work that I do is not, you don't see it. It's not on social media. The social media part, I just focus really on the wellness and the nuggets and the stuff, just to keep it going. But
keep it going.
And honestly, I don't sell the services. What I did was I worked on the quality of the service as most importantly. Most people just want to get the clients, and then when they get it, they can't deliver. They can't execute, So I had to sort of reverse engineer it a little bit and focus on, enhancing what I was good at and working on the ideas and working on the service itself, rather than focusing on building up the client base, And how I was able to start to monetize it was by developing myself, developing the service. The more I developed it and the more visibility I created for it, the more business would come my way. I didn't really have to do that much advertising, funnily enough. I just kind of positioned myself and made a lot of noise and just kept talking, because it's free. So I give a lot of free information, free consultation, which a lot of people aren't willing to do.
Okay.
But I was willing to do that back then, because really, honestly, I didn't really have much of a choice. So let me give you a little example, right? Okay. Say you have 10,000 naira. Okay.
Mhm.
How am I going to grow my business with 10,000 naira? Okay. What is your message? What are you selling? What can you teach people? What value can you give? Okay. Take that value, print some flyers, all right,
Mhm.
and go and stand on the street corners and give out flyers saying, I'm going to be standing on that street corner and I'm going to be talking.
Mhm.
First time you're there, one person walks by. Second time, three people walk by. Third time, maybe somebody stops and listens.
Mhm.
But the consistency of you being there starts to win.
Mm.
It's all about that consistency and that delivery. So one of the first things I did, right, when I started my fitness thing was I went out on Lekki Bridge and gave
Oh
out
wow.
flyers. I stood and gave out flyers. You know, I
With
had
the
a friend of
moving
mine.
cars.
Yeah, with the cars, I was giving out flyers. I was standing there, and it was at nighttime as well. It was like at 7 p.m. and
Oh.
stuff. And one of my friends, again, doing very well. He messaged me. He goes, "Dude, I'm so impressed that you had the humility to go and stand outside on the street, considering who you are, etc., etc." I'm like,
Who am I?
who am I? And secondly, dude, I am into this. I want people to come to one of my fitness things. So I was giving them out, giving them out, giving them out, and that something about that act kind of resonated with him. So I
Mm.
use that example of standing on a street corner and just
Mhm.
continually talking about this thing, about
Mhm.
this message, about this value, because
Mhm.
at some point somebody will start to listen, somebody will start to pay attention, which is pretty much what happened to me. I just
Mm.
kept saying, this is what I do, this is my message. And someone somewhere started to see the value in that message, and it
Mm.
slowly started to build. And one of my friends says, let the beat build. Just keep building that beat. Keep
Mm.
doing, keep delivering, because
Mhm.
somebody somewhere is watching.
Mhm.
Somebody somewhere is looking in. Don't
Yeah.
lose hope. Keep going, man. You know the saying, every overnight success is 10 years in the
Mm.
making. It takes time. Don't wake up, You would work in a company for 20 years and be happy to progress slowly. And then you go out and start your own business and you want it all in
And you
one
want
year.
to
Wake up,
immediately.
buddy. Doesn't work that way. So I kept being consistent, all right, in what I was doing. And eventually, um, people started to take interest. And I was very fortunate to connect with some really good people. In fact, one of the people that used to write for me made a key connection that changed my whole world and took me into the wellness game.
Mhm.
And that's what connected me into the corporate world. So a lot of
Mm.
the work that I do is in the corporate world, actually. Okay, it's
Mhm.
corporate wellness, and we run, coaching, counseling services. So a lot of it, and it's all virtual now and everything. But that's what started, and within again 2 years of operations, we landed our first major client, which was Chevron.
Oh wow.
Now, sounds great, right? Sounds
Yeah.
glamorous. It's awesome. I got Chevron.
Yeah.
Damn. Oh boy, the hoops that those people made me jump through, a lot of people would have quit. First of all, I
Mm.
had to put money together. I had to fly to England to go and sign the agreement. I
Oh
had to
wow.
meet all sorts of qualifications. I had to go and register with the Department of Petroleum Resources. And if because to even work with companies like that, you have to have certain
Mhm.
things in place.
Mhm.
Your insurance has to be on a certain level. You have to have a certain number of staff.
Yeah.
All these
Yeah.
kind of things. It costs you money to even get there, and
Mm.
that took me months and months of micromanagement from them as well, and all sorts of things. But then once you get that one, the others see, and they're like, okay, oh, so if you can qualify to work for these guys, we want you.
Then yeah.
And it started to kind of snowball from
Mm.
there. Again, it's a very confidential service, so I don't really talk too much about it. It's
Got
not
it.
something that I can put on, but it's called an EAP service. It's an employee assisted program,
Mm.
and a lot of the multinationals and stuff come to us, and we provide a telephonic counseling service to them,
Mm.
as well as work life consultation, face to face orientations, where we go to these companies and teach them how to change their internal culture. Now, this has doesn't sound much like fitness, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say, so EDED is not your regular fitness, we do
No,
some
no, no. This
yoga.
is this is this is this is wellness, So it's work life. It's a holistic approach. But part of it is, of course, to do fitness sessions for staff, and so on and so,
Okay.
so on and so forth. So yeah, it's monetizing is about you focusing on the quality of what you do, on the way you execute your delivery, getting your supply chains in place if you're somebody that supplies goods. I can't tell you how messed up it is when you order something online
Mm-hmm.
and they mess up the delivery.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Immediately you're canceled. You know what
Mm.
I mean? They
Yeah.
don't get it right. They're more interested in, putting out awesome looking flyers and everything
Mm-hmm.
looks great until it's time for the service part of it. Focus on your supply chains. Focus on the way you execute.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That
Mm-hmm.
quality is what sells, not
Mm.
fancy fireworks and fancy looking things. Even though you got to have that as well. Remember, I talked about touch points, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Every touch point, every
Mm-hmm.
post you make, and so on and
Yeah.
so forth. So, like, look, that part of it has been great. The glamour side of what I do is the fitness stuff. The work
Mm.
I do with kids, the school tours. I don't know if you guys know about that, but I do kids fitness as well. So we go on every
Interesting.
year. We've been going on school tours where we go to schools around Lagos, and I coach them on what fitness is, get them excited about fitness, um, and how it affects you, the benefits of it, and that is one of the highlights of my work. That's the
Impressive.
best part. That is the part that I put on Instagram. That is the part where I'm
Interesting.
standing out there in front of a sea of kids. I know that,
Mm-hmm.
but rewind 5 years back, and I'm the lonely guy going to
Mm-hmm.
one lonely park with just a few kids and going do some jumping jacks with them. You
Yeah.
know, Fast forward, and then you've got hundreds of kids, or you're now coaching thousands of kids.
Mm-hmm.
And where there's kids, there's parents, and where there's
Mm.
parents, there's business. So everything kind of ties in, and yeah.
Interesting, interesting, interesting story, interesting journey, really. No, no, it seems like you have your hands full, but then again, you actually know what you're doing in every bit of the things that you do. Guys, for those who are just joining us, we are talking to Maje Ayida, and we are talking about self-love as a pivot for building your dreams. So guys, if you're confused or you think you don't even have a dream, speaking to somebody might just do the magic, reading might just do the magic, and Maje, like almost all our previous guests have talked about, they've talked about research. Guys, I don't think you can really grow without research. You have to research, you have to read, you have to just keep doing research. It's a continuous thing. And he's also talked about
That's it. You
consistency.
got that. Research, man. Know
Yeah,
your stuff. You
yeah,
cannot study enough.
yeah.
Learn and keep learning. Learn every day. I'm learning right now about what I do because there's always people doing better.
Better.
And take your inspiration. There's a guy out in England called the Body Coach, Joe Wicks. Man, that guy is an inspiration to me. He does things. I'm like, I want to do that.
Yeah.
And he gave me the idea of kids fitness because he was doing kids fitness.
Okay.
He gave me a lot of ideas. I see things and I'm like, wow, I want to do that. Why I even stepped into fitness events, all right, was because I was on Instagram and there's a girl I follow, again, England based. Sorry, I keep referring to England, but
It's all right.
I saw her. She went to a fitness event at a place called the Saatchi Gallery. It's an art gallery.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a very small fitness thing in there. And I just thought, wow, that is so cool. Having a fitness event in an unusual location, which now gave me an idea. I want to do that in Lagos.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I ended up talking to the Nike girl because
Mm.
I wanted to do it at the Palms shopping mall
Okay.
in the
Okay.
car park. And Nike was there at the time. And so I thought, hey, you know what? Can we do it in front of the Nike store? And she goes,
Mm-hmm.
why are you thinking small? Go
Mm.
big. Because I was like, yeah, do it there, like maybe 15, 20 people, because I was still scared.
Mm-hmm.
I was still afraid. So I
Mm-hmm.
didn't want to take the risk of
Mm-hmm.
putting myself out there. But she's like, no, 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 no. Go do it in the car park. Go big or go home.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I
Mm.
went big. And the first fitness event I did, like we had over 250 people show up.
Wow.
And believe you me, I stood on that stage. That was the first time I'd ever been on stage
Mm-hmm.
for a fitness event. First time I'd ever done a fitness event.
Mm-hmm.
But it was the quality, you see, because I planned everything from
Mm.
having concert barriers to the ticketing system.
Mm.
I had people, the access was through your phone. So I would send you the pass and you would show it
Mhm.
in, stamp system. I had people set up, I had turf on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
I had cones to separate people so everybody was aligned and stuff. And nobody had
Wow.
seen a fitness event like that. All those
Wow.
ideas I got from seeing some guy do that in China.
Oh,
So I just
wow.
did the same thing there. I went big, and I remember standing on the stage, first time on stage, nervous as hell.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, what if nobody comes? That was what was freaking me out. And I watched
Mm-hmm.
one person come, two people, three people, five people, 10 people, 20, from
Wow.
nowhere to 250. And
Oh,
that's where I
wow.
met actress Kate Henshaw. She came to my event. It was my first
Mhm.
event. She was at the back. I couldn't believe I saw her. I was on stage. I said, is that Kate? You
Did
get
you
your
fall
ass
off
up
the
here on
stage?
stage. No, I told her, get up here. She pulled her on stage with me and she worked out with me on stage.
Oh, wow.
Crazy. I got pictures on that on my page. It's crazy, but and it was a dream come true. Like I cried after that
Oh.
day. It was overwhelming for me because it was just too much. And all I kept thinking in my mind was, man, I wish my mom saw this.
Oh.
Man, I wish my mom saw this. You know what I mean? And yeah, it's fearless, man. We operate in spite of fear. That's the point. A lot of shit will scare you and will cripple you and will stop you
Mm-hmm.
doing things. But if you can learn to, if you can learn, as my man Gary Vee always says, fail early, embrace failure. It
Makes
doesn't
sense.
kill you.
Mm-hmm.
I know what it tastes like to lose. I know what losing feels like. It's all right. And I'm done with that. Thank you. But you know what? If I lose again, I'm okay. I don't mind losing. I'll
Mm-hmm.
keep trying stuff, So yeah, what
Wow.
Nigeria is
Wow.
yearning for.
Yeah.
Quality lived out. We need more of such models. Oh, nice. Yes, Gary Vee is the man. I trust me. That man. I study him.
Quickly, guys, if you have any questions, please put them in the comment section so I can ask him. But I'm going to ask you. So let's say there's somebody on here or somebody has a brother or a sister somewhere and they want to, oh, you know what? After listening to Maje, I think this is the way forward for me. What does the person need to, bring to the table to start your kind of business?
To start my kind of business in terms of fitness, right?
Yeah.
Um, get fit first.
I didn't expect that.
Yeah. First and foremost, work on yourself.
Mm.
Understand what it is that you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of people who, they might lose a little weight and suddenly call themselves a fitness coach. No, go get certified. Go do the
Okay.
course. Go do the work, because you are in a place of responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
Clients are trusting you. They're putting their health in your hands.
Mm-hmm.
So you must be certified. Too many people who are just weightlifters running around calling themselves fitness instructors and they're unqualified. It doesn't make sense to me. So understand what you're doing first of all.
Mm-hmm.
Go and learn it. Somebody went to meet Will Smith and said, "Hey, how do I make it in Hollywood?" And Will Smith said, "Go get a six-pack and come back."
Mm.
Why go get a six-pack? Because of the discipline that it takes to get that. The discipline required is a work
Mm-hmm.
ethic on its own.
Mm.
So if you can go and train yourself first, then you
Mm.
understand the work ethic involved. All
Mm-hmm.
right? Get good at what you do. Then work on your branding.
Mm-hmm.
What are you? What is your purpose? What is going to separate you from other people?
Mm-hmm.
What separates me, I think, from a lot of the fitness coaches out there is I talk a lot, as you can tell, right?
Yes.
I do a lot of talking. So,
Yeah.
and one of the few, and I
Oh well,
focus
but
on,
talking seems to have worked for you, and it seems to be
yeah.
working for you.
Well,
So
I
you
mean,
might as well
you gotta make
continue.
sense though. You don't just talk for the sake
Yeah.
of talking. Have something to
Yeah.
say. And early on, I learned what my message was,
Mm-hmm.
and my message was very simple. Are
Mm.
you happy? When you wake up in the morning, are you happy?
Mm-hmm.
All right. You're not happy.
Mm.
What's it gonna take? What
Mm.
changes you need to make? How do you need to change the way you think?
Mm.
How do you need to change the way you look at stress? And all these things I really understood because I lived it.
Mm.
I
Mm.
created my best work from the darkest places in my life.
Wow.
And I've been through my fair share of shit, you know what I
Mm.
mean? And I had a time in my life where I went through a lot more than what most people would do. But
Mm.
in that pressure, in that darkness, I created my
Mm.
best work. This is the gift that God gives us.
Mm.
We have the ability, like diamonds, under pressure to become like
Mm.
diamonds, right? When you're under pressure, you can produce your best work. When you're in your darkest place, you can produce your best work. But you got to tap into that. That really comes from understanding what stillness is, being in a place of stillness. God's voice is in stillness. That's when you hear. If you can learn to still what's going on inside you. All right. So I would recommend to whoever it is that's going down this path or any path or starting or wanting to change their lives is, you know, I told you, self-audit. Understand yourself, learn, research, understand what it is that you want to do. What is your message? What value do you want to create? What can you gift to the world? Understand what it is to give your services for free. Give, then charge. You know, people know what they're getting from me because you just go to my page, you'll see me talking. I'll go give free talks, I'll do free lives. I'll go to places and I'll talk for free because at some point I'm gonna charge you. At some point. I didn't just walk into a company and start charging them. I was going to talk to companies for free for a long while. I would get people, let me come and talk to you. Let me come and engage your management. Let me come and engage your executives. Let me come and engage your staff and talk to them a little bit, right? 5 minutes. Give me 5 minutes in the morning. And they would give that to me. And when people walk away from that thinking, oh my God, that was an amazing talk. This guy. Trust me, they're ready to pay for it after that. But most people don't want to give the free.
Yeah.
No
one wants to do pro bono. They just want to make the money. Nobody wants that. But hey, I understand, you know, we're hungry. You know, we got to eat. Man's got to eat. But, you know, if there's one thing that I would advise that you shouldn't do, which is what I did, is don't quit your job without a plan. Okay? I had no plan. So, fair enough.
You know, don't quit your job without a plan. Know where you're going to if that's what you're going to do, you know. But understand the value that you're getting from that job as well, the discipline that you're learning. You might not be feeling it where you are, but you're learning something. Everything. There's a lesson everywhere you go. All right. That's it.
That's it.
Drop mic.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Maje. Someone's asked a question here. Let's see if we can quickly answer that. Mr. Rafani says, how does one go about dealing with heckling clients in a business or at a public function? So you have maybe
don't take it personally. If they don't know you personally, why are you letting it derail you? Why are you taking it personally? Don't. You know, stay on track. Because trust me, when things are moving, that's when distractions come. That's when things to come and take you off track. You know, so you're giving talk, maybe you're giving a talk somewhere, you're trying to teach somebody about your product and stuff, and you have somebody heckling you. Do your best to answer the questions without losing your rag, without losing your temper. Because if you're taking things personally, that's when you'll get upset. Realize that person doesn't know you personally. So do your best to answer it. That in itself is a test. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much, guys. Is there any other question? Does anyone want to ask Mr. Ayida anything before we leave? Or should we just
leave?
Okay. All right. Last but not the least question. What if I don't know my passion? What if I don't know my passion? Apart from talking to a life coach.
I've answered this one already. If you don't know your passion, you have no idea about your passion, learn about yourself. Learn who you are. That's all. Because you can spend your whole life learning who you are. For real. It's a whole journey in its own. So just start the journey of learning who you are. It's in there somewhere, I promise you.
And how do you begin to learn about yourself?
Learn your strengths and weaknesses. Become self-aware. Understand who you are. How do you learn yourself? What are you good at? What are you not good at? You know what I mean? Like, for real. Just learning who you are is a quest. The quest for self-mastery. There are books. Read it. Self-discovery. Read. Pick up a book. Open your laptop. Read. You're not going to learn about yourself watching Big Brother. You're not going to learn about yourself too much on Instagram. You'll learn something. But read. Read something every day. That's where the journey begins. That's when you start to wake up. You know? Yes.
Wow. Someone says, how do you keep young and how does he stay so young and fresh? Maybe you have to inbox him for that or something.
Oh, well, I don't know. I mean, you can see from my gray hair, I'm not a young man. I'm 48 this month, next week.
Oh,
My
wow.
birthday is on Monday, so I'm going to be 48.
Wow.
So I'm pushing 50. But I think that it's just really just a commitment to what I do. I think that
Mm-hmm.
the more active you are, the better you feel. And when you learn that you can control how you respond to things, the life will always be stressful. It will always be things challenging you, but it's about how you respond. That's where the magic is. And I learned a while ago that, you know what, things out there don't have to destroy me in here.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I learned that happiness is a choice.
And once you're well on the
That's
inside,
it.
it reflects on the outside, doesn't it? Hello? Can you
Sorry?
hear me? Can you hear me? I said once you're well on the inside, it reflects on the outside.
There you go. You have it. There you go. Exactly.
So, guys, if you don't take away anything from today, take away focus, take away respect,
Exactly.
take
You've
away
got it. You've got it.
consistency, take away consistency, and you are good to go. So I want to say thank you so much to everybody that's come on the live session. Thank you so much, Mr. Ayida. Thank you for your time. Thank you for those really healthy nuggets. We shall be working on them. And guys, I'll see you same time next
Thank you,
Friday.
Benga. Thank you, Benga.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate that comment,
Thank you
man. I see
so
you there. I
much.
see you, buddy.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
guys. Thank you for your time. Thank you for listening to me. Stay
Thank
blessed.
you.
Have an awesome weekend, okay?
Yeah,
Thank
guys,
you.
have an awesome
Bye-bye.
weekend. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye. Thank you.